Well, good morning, everybody. Great to see folks streaming in, as always.
Good morning.
Good
Morning, Jen.
Morning.
morning.
Adrian.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, Ruth.
Ruth.
Good morning, Ruth.
Oh,
It is so good to see you all this morning.
Man, it looks like some of you guys got haircuts.
Oh my.
have to bring that up.
Sorry, Lauren. I'll just say it's
serious forest going on up here.
Ruth, is that a new summer top?
Yes, this is my dress for waving at people.
Ooh.
It's not new, it's actually very, very old, but it's gonna be cool.
Which is going to be important on a day like today. Hey, look, here comes everybody.
absolutely super hot out there, but we hope everybody stops by that can anyway.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's so good to see everybody here. Good morning. Thanks for joining us and welcome. My name's Jen Crow. I'm one of the ministers here at First Universalist Church, and I'm so glad that each and every one of you is tuning in with us this morning. We gather today welcoming church members and friends, and also welcoming many of you for the first time. We're grateful that you're joining us from around the country and around the Twin Cities and around the world. So thank you for being with us today. It matters that we gather together to continue to strengthen our spiritual muscles so that we can be in solidarity for justice for the long haul, and that we can live into the joy of that deep alignment that we are creating. So many of you know First Universalist has been a beacon of love and hope for generations. We demand that each and every one of us in all of our kaleidoscopic beauty and variety is welcome and wanted, whole and holy and worthy. This is who we have always been, and this is who we are now. So we invite you into this life with us, where we listen deeply to where love is calling us next, where we welcome, affirm, and protect the light in each human heart, where we act with humility and compassion as we work for justice together. We do all of this as a faith community deeply committed to racial justice. And we want to extend a special welcome this morning. We've got some new neighbors here in our neighborhood. So many of you know that there have been folks who are experiencing homelessness who have been living together over at Powderhorn Park for a couple of weeks now. And you may also have heard that all the parks in Minneapolis have become sanctuary spaces, which mean that it is good and okay and welcome for folks to camp in the parks right now as a way to have a safe place to be. And so some folks have moved from Powderhorn Park over to Lyndale Farmstead Park, which is just nearby us over at 40th and Bryant. And we want to extend a special welcome to our new neighbors who are over there, and also to let the church know, let you all know that we've been asked to help support our new neighbors and to welcome them to our community, and also to, like I said, support their needs as those come up. So we'll be talking more about what that means over the next few days and how we can all get involved and help. But especially for our neighbors who live close by, we want to invite you to welcome the new folks over at Lyndale Farmstead with warm, open hearts, remembering that we welcome, affirm, and protect the light in each and every human heart. So there are so many different ways to be connected here at church, and we hope that you will find your right spot. But let me lift up a few of these ways. So of course, there's worship here at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. There's also worship on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. It's a great way to center yourself in the middle of the week. I hope you'll join us for that. Also, if you'd like to be included in the cycle of life, or if you find that you're in need of support from the church in any way, please let Reverend Karen or any of our staff and ministers know. We want to be there for each other always, and especially right now. We want to make sure that you're also receiving our weekly newsletter, the Liberal. This comes through your email. You'll also get lots of other important announcements and invitations that way. So if you're not connected with us like that, please make sure to let us know so that we can make sure you're in the loop with us. Now, today is a particular and important day in the life of our church community, as we say goodbye to Reverend Ruth as she heads into retirement. Now, Reverend Ruth has been with us. She has been teaching us and guiding us and being with us through so much over these last 10 years. And it is hard to say goodbye. I'll say I have all kinds of feelings about this: excitement for her, sadness, all of it all mixed up at once. So full of gratitude and tears today, we will recognize both the important details and the broad gestures of this relationship that we have shared. And we will allow this goodbye, this transition that we are experiencing as a church, to ring the bell of all the transitions and goodbyes that we have known, some of them over the course of these past 3 months and some of them over the course of our life. We know that when we are together in community, we can hold just about anything. We know that love is with us today as we mark this transition for Reverend Ruth and for us as a church, and also as we allow the ringing of that bell, the echoes of all the transitions and losses we have known, to ring in us today. We do this together in community. So today we won't be having coffee hour after the service. We're hoping that as many of you as are able will be able to join us actually here at church. Reverend Ruth will be on the front steps of the church today from 11:30 to 1. And we welcome folks to drive or walk or bike along DuPont Avenue to wave goodbye to our dear Ruth. Walkers and bikers, please make sure that you're wearing a mask and practicing social distancing. Members of Ruth's Good Goodbye team will be here to help collect cards for Ruth and also to direct traffic. So we hope to see you if you're able to come on by. And now as we prepare our hearts and our bodies for worship for this time of renewal, we're going to have a practice of taking 3 deep breaths together. So this is a way we settle our bodies and our spirits. And I'm going to invite you today, if you wish, you can do this standing or sitting or in your mind's eye, if that works for you too. But I'm going to invite us along to get comfortable in your seat. I've got my feet on the floor, to breathe in, hands coming up. Hold it. Breathe out super slow. To breathe in deep, scooping up all of our gratitudes. To hold them full in our heart. And to exhale, trusting that that beauty surrounds us. One more, inhaling, scooping up all those gratitudes. Hold them in their fullness, and then exhale slow. So all of that gratitude, all of that grounding can surround us and bless us. It's good to be together. So if you have a chalice nearby, I invite you to grab it and we'll light our chalice together, say the chalice lighting words together with Pierce and Rosanna, and then we'll hear a story from Lauren and sing together as well.
Please join me in the words for the lighting of our chalice. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Elk had invited everyone to the gathering. Bison felt unsure about going. He knew he was lonely, and he knew something needed to change. Though gatherings were not really his thing, he trusted Elk's wisdom and kindness, so Bison trotted through the forest and lingered in the shadows near the edge of the clearing. There were a few animals gathered there, talking, listening, and laughing. Elk caught sight of Bison and welcomed him in with a big smile. "Hello, friend!" Suddenly Bison felt not so alone. He trotted into the crowd, where Goose greeted him warmly, and before he knew it, Bison had found a new friend. Resting in the sun, Turtle also felt unsure about going. She knew she was still grieving the death of her grandma, and she knew something needed to change. Though gatherings were not really her thing, she trusted Elk's wisdom and kindness, so Turtle plodded through the forest and lingered in the shadows near the edge of the clearing. There were at least a dozen animals gathered there, talking, listening, and laughing. Elk caught sight of Turtle and welcomed her in with a big smile. "Hello, friend." Suddenly, Turtle felt not so sad. She plodded into the crowd, where Bison greeted her warmly, and before she knew it, Turtle had found a new friend. Wading in the stream, Bear also felt unsure about going. They knew the world was full of injustice, and they knew something needed to change. Though gatherings were not really their thing, they trusted Elk's wisdom and kindness, so Bear lumbered through the forest and lingered in the shadows near the edge of the clearing. There was a large crowd of animals gathered there, talking, listening, and laughing. Elk caught sight of Bear and welcomed them in with a big smile. "Hello, friend!" Suddenly, Bear felt not so hopeless. They lumbered into the crowd, where Turtle greeted them warmly, and before they knew it, Bear had found a new friend. Elk's soulful voice cut through the chatter, singing a song of belonging.
Even after all this time, a love like that lights a whole sky.
It was a magical moment in which each animal present felt a deep assurance of their place in the larger community of all living things. Then Elk spoke. "Thank you so much for being here," she said. "Today, I begin my annual migration to the higher altitudes. I'll miss you all so much." The animals murmured their concern. Goose spoke up for them all. "But how can you go? What will we do? We've only just arrived, and we came seeking kindness and wisdom." Elk smiled, and her smile was indeed kind and wise. "Look around," she encouraged them. "Really, look around at your neighbors. Can you see their kind eyes? Can you sense their wise hearts? These are your people, and this is your community. Here you will give and receive acceptance, strength, and hope." With those words, Elk turned and bounded out of the clearing. Halfway up the hillside, she stopped and took one long, loving look back at the gathering. Bison thought about trotting away, but then he noticed Goose by his side and realized he wanted to stay. Turtle thought about plodding away, but then she noticed Bison by her side and realized she wanted to stay. Bear thought about lumbering away, but then they noticed Turtle by their side and realized they wanted to stay. So it was that the animals came to realize that while Elk had brought them together, it was their shared longing for companionship, meaning, and justice that made them a community. And so it was that their voices rose in a chorus of song as Elk turned and, with one last graceful leap, disappeared into the trees.
divine, my divine.
Wow. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Franco, for that. Just gorgeous, gorgeous music. Friends, as we enter into this time of prayer, I invite you to put down what you're holding. Let your gaze be soft. Just take a moment to settle in here. Spirit of life, Spirit of love,
sources of reason and radiance, breaths of ancestors, breaths that surround us, breath that connects us.
let's breathe together as we enter into silence, into this shared and ancient breath that makes us one.
When everything we thought was true gets shaken up, we ask questions. We want to know. We seek security. We wonder. We wonder why. We ask, when will this end? And when will that begin?
When everything we thought was true gets shaken up, we ask who we are. We ask what we are about.
Who are we? We are scared and we need assurance. We are fearless and we need breastplates. We are learning and we need to think. We are a part of, yet we need to distinguish the outlines of our many selves as we seek authenticity.
What are we about?
Think about it when we lose a loved one,
When we lose a job,
when we have a baby,
when we move somewhere new,
when a relationship starts,
when a relationship ends,
when everything we thought is true gets shaken up.
we ask who we are. We ask what we are about.
Right now, for some of you, things are really shaken up.
Right now, for some of you, you're watching others feel shaken up. Some of you wonder, how can this be the world that we live in?
Some of you think a couple of people are seeing what I've known all my life. So we ask, we pray these big questions as the community. Who are we? What are we about? Are we people of many truths, moving closer to what is real, even if what we're seeing blinds and immobilizes us? Are we moving closer to truths that can energize our bodies, resurrect our analysis, and set us free?
Are we people of ease and comfort, happily letting urgency slip away, following the lead of those we agree with, those who don't ask too much? Spirit of life, Spirit of love, help us to listen with undefended hearts to all that is calling us right now. These are deep questions that we're asking. Help us ask them more deeply than ever before, that we might uproot what needs uprooting, bring to the light of day what needs to be seen, ask these old questions in ways that bring new answers.
Sources of reason and radiance, breath of my ancestors, what are we about? Breathe wisdom into us that we might pause before reaching for old answers. What are we really about? Is it enough?
And even in these big questions,
Even in these big questions, we are here now. Some amongst us are hurting, some are celebrating. Let us hold all of these feelings in this community. I invite you to share in the chat box the sorrows you're holding in your heart. And I also want to lift up Karen Warren, who has just gone into hospice. May her transition come with peace and love. We also lift up the young adult, Althea Bernstein, a UU member of First Unitarian Society of Madison, Wisconsin. She was driving along in a car the day before yesterday at a stoplight, and 4 white men with spray containers filled with gasoline sprayed her face and body and attempted to light her on fire. She has 3rd-degree burns. She's alive. She's alive. Pray for the protester that was killed in Louisville when a gunman opened fire yesterday on a peaceful protest. He killed 1 and injured many, running for their lives under park benches. We don't always know why we're crying anymore, but we have tears. Elijah McCain's family. Someone's car got stolen. Safety. Love.
friends, there is so much that we're holding right now. And even in the midst of our sorrows, these are times of surprising grace, times when joy breaks through in surprising ways, touching us more deeply than we thought possible. And so I invite you to share in the chat those things that are lifting your spirit, those things that are helping you to make it through the day.
My baby can sit up. Kayaking on the
There are
lake.
so many things that are growing. So
Being
many
together.
things.
The joys are coming in as fast as the sorrows. We are holding both so tightly in relationship with one another. Pancakes. Yes, we are happy for pancakes
Yes, indeed.
with the right syrup. A negative biopsy. Amen.
Mhm.
The rose garden near Lake Harriet. Fresh basil. Connections. Time with family. Baking. Wonderful neighborhood group. This church. This church. This church. Yes.
This
Loving
church.
guidance. This church. Aging. Happy to be aging. Single parenting group. Yes, yes. And most of all, we celebrate Ruth. That is our joy today. May the grip of addiction be loosened, the weight of oppression be lightened, may grief be shared, may joy break through, and may love make everybody connect more and work more for justice. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Amen.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots holding close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me.
Ruth, you helped the spirit of life come to so many of us. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years that we have worked together, 10 years that you served this congregation, 10 years that you've been with so many of us. And over these 10 years, you have journeyed with us in hospital rooms, in walks around the lake, in church offices, in trips to Boston with our youth, in sacred conversations in hallways and outside the sanctuary, sacred conversations in the parking lot. You have been such an important part of our lives in so many ways. And so today, on this last Sunday that you are with us, this celebration of you and your ministry, we've asked three congregants. We've asked Michael Dotson and Darren Woodson and Adrian Ali-Caccamo to share reflections about your ministry and what it has meant to them.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Dotson, and I'm a 30-year member of this congregation. Ruth, 9 years ago, my telephone rang, and this person I didn't know wanted to arrange to visit me. I was trying to sort myself out in a new apartment after a major surgery, and you brought me a comfort shawl, music from the church, and a warm, cautious, respectful caring. You helped me hang a shower curtain that day. I will never again hang a shower curtain without thinking of you. I understand now that that was your first pastoral visit in our congregation. Since that beginning, I have experienced you in so many different spaces and projects in this church. I am always blessed to work with you, to be challenged and supported by you. in learning to sing my song, to actually talk about race. Blessed to experience you in the worship setting and to receive your insight and comfort along my personal journey. In terms of talking about race, what is now the Racial Justice Education Team and the Change Team was originally the Racial Justice Leadership Team. And in the very first meeting of that group, I heard your clarity that this is work that we need to be doing as a church. And I heard your passion to be part of it. You were planning a sermon about racial justice, and we talked about your thoughts. You recognized that your message was largely to the people, to the white people in the church, and your curiosity and caring was evident in your question to me of what would it take for me to feel like this was my church home where I could show up with my whole self. By your example and your commitment, you invited me and us into a larger scale conversation about race and the challenges of talking to each other about it. When from the chancel, you told of a multiracial group that you were a part of, where all present committed to stay at the table and talk through the frustration, anger, and other sharp emotions that come with that conversation. In worship, I have experienced in your sermons the integrity of your thoughts, words, compassions, and fears as you shared yourself with us in the telling of a story or lesson. You shared so freely of your own experience in the telling that our experience was all the more powerful for it. I can't really put my finger on what it is, but over time, I began to appreciate your touch in the rich feeling and spiritual weaving of our worship experience. And while I can't quite describe it, I know that others have appreciated it as well. I know by the many comments that I have heard that echo what I feel. As a vocal musician, your singing has been a powerful and recognizable gift to us on many occasions. When I see you in front of me in church, I guess I have a moment to anticipate and prepare myself for that gift. One morning, though, I didn't see you prepared to sing. You began to sing from the balcony behind me, and unanticipated, it took my breath away. Your work with the worship associates saw our role expand from reading words selected by someone else to nurturing our individual experiences and thoughts around the worship theme. You heard and felt our stories and helped us craft our calls to worship to honor our stories and to feed the worship service. It was a collaboration that benefited the congregation and the service and was an experience of growth and personal expression for us worship associates individually. You have posed significant questions to me, ones that have called me to look at myself and to ponder larger unknowns. Your question about what it would take for me to be fully at home here was a profound question for me. One I have been thinking about for years and to which I still don't have an answer. And then there you were getting on my case about why I have such mystical answers when asked the question, how are you? I know why I do that, and that just is what it is. Sitting over tea or talking and walking, you have nudged open the windows in my very introverted room. You have many times given me an ear and a heart that I knew was strong enough and compassionate enough to hold and hear my struggles. Ruth, in your presence, I see myself as a whole and complex person. Thank you. I am uncomfortably self-conscious about speaking so much of my own experiences here, but calmed by the idea that I represent similar experiences between you and other congregants. And that is the real value of my words today. When I hold my personal sense of your powerful presence, compassion, and talents, I am overwhelmed realizing that we as a congregation experience that multiplied many, many, many times throughout the people of First Universalist Church. Justin said it last week. Ruth, you just show up big time. Ruth, please know that you are loved here and will definitely be missed. But in our collective grief, ours and yours, know that because we love you, we so want you to be at peace with the rest and joy of what comes next for you. Namaste.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darren Woodson. I'm a board member, upcoming vice chair, a worship associate, and a co-lead for the BIPOC multiracial youth group. So it's already been said once before, Ruth, but I write and wrote this in the midst of grieving. I know Ruth's retirement is not an end, but I know it's a transition. And I also know that I need to honor the reality of a transition. It means it's an end to the known, and a beginning to the unknown, an unknown full of possibilities. And so I need, and we need, to grieve the end to the known. Because I know Ruth, as a minister who leads with her whole heart in everything she does, she's a leader and a person who holds space in such healing ways that's inspiring. Ruth also has this amazing ability to see both my heart and youth's hearts and any congregation's heart that needs healing and spiritual care. I also know as a board member and a worship associate that Ruth does not just recognize the visionary goals of this church, she lives and breathes them in everything that she does. I was able to personally experience Ruth's embodiment of all the visionary goals when I had the honor of sharing the whole Easter Sunday service with her back in 2019. In this service, there was beautiful music and storytelling that brought joy for both our youth and our elders and everyone in between. And also in this service, there was powerful female voices that unapologetically and with radical love called out the white supremacy and anti-Blackness in all of us, and then named the need for radical change to intentionally embrace the power of the process of being in recovery from racism and anti-Blackness. So I grieve to the end of knowing how I and others are both individually and collectively through this church in community with this energetic, influential, loving spiritual leader. And still, I must allow my faith to guide me as we embrace the beginning of the unknown, and how I need to trust the relationship and connection that we have built with Ruth, that it will not fade away, but take on a new form. So what will that new form look like? I don't know. But I do know that every time I make space and allow for the voices of youth to be heard and validated, I'm in a relationship with Ruth. Every time I speak out and take action against white supremacy culture and all the intersectionality that comes with it, I'm in connection with Ruth. And I know that every time I love radically and see every single human heart, I'm in community with Ruth. So Ruth, thank you. I know that this again is a beginning, and I look forward to seeing where this beautiful beginning will take us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adrian Ali-Caccamo. I'm 19. I've been a lifelong congregant at First Universalist. Ruth, it's clear from this service today that you have touched the lives of people across this congregation. Adding to this chorus of voices that send our love, I'd like to thank you on behalf of all the youth that have grown up and come of age under your ministries. I'll be honest with you. When you first began your ministry, I was slightly taken aback. I found myself wondering, who is this woman and why does she always seem to be singing? Thankfully, I got to know you much better over the years. As we journeyed through coming of age, you had the impressive ability to not simply direct us, but rather to walk hand in hand with us. As a group of ninth graders grappling with life's biggest questions, I admired your wisdom and mentorship, but also your deep desire to step back and listen to our emotions, questions, and ideas stirring in our hearts and minds. Then as a worship associate, I had the privilege of seeing firsthand the incredible care you put into crafting and structuring Sunday morning services. What struck me was that no matter the new scenario, your singing would never be far off. I will always remember walking through some heritage trail in Boston with you, Ruth, and our group of high schoolers all singing in the middle of the city. I realized that it was an extension of your ministry and a way to process the ever-changing world, and I watched as it opened up our group to a love that you shared with us. With that being said, I have the honor of presenting you with a farewell gift from the congregation. So if you have that box that I dropped off at your house yesterday, yeah, if you can open that. So there's a representative guitar pick in there. We got you more than a pick. As a congregation, we're giving you the money to buy yourself a lovely new guitar. I know I speak for many, including the youth of the church, when I say that we appreciate all the love, guidance, and friendship you have given us. We are so thankful for you, and we hope you can use this to forever share your singing, your voice, and your love wherever your journey takes you next. Now our choir has prepared a parting gift for you, Ruth.
Dearest Ruth, as you prepare to move wholeheartedly into this next chapter in your life, we want to mark this moment, this threshold, this time of retirement. We want to mark this moment with you to express our gratitude and to offer our blessing to you and to remind you that you never walk alone.
So often you had just the right words, song, poem, or gentle touch to share with us, to let us know you were with us.
Ruth, thank you for the gifts you've brought to your ministry, your humor, your artistry, your creativity, your spiritual depth, your vision for worship, and your love of us.
Ruth, thank you for your wisdom and your compassion, and your broad, big brain, and thank you for your love of beauty. And most of all, thank you for your quirkiness. Will you take that everywhere you go and bless the world again?
Again and again, Ruth, you have met the moment. You have met our people in every stage of life, from babies to elders, exactly where they were.
Ruth, thank you for sharing the sacred text of your life with us. In doing this, you have helped us to understand our own texts, meant to be explored, shared, and mined for the treasures they contain.
Ruth, thank you for song and for singing, storytelling, and soul-stirring prayers.
Today we bless you as you cross the threshold into this new season of your life. May you continue to listen deeply to where love is calling you next, and may you feel our love surround you in every moment. May it be so. Amen.
Oh Lord, so many mutes and unmutes. There are no words. Holy cow. Thank you so much. And I must say that the piece that the choir sang was a song I used to sing as a girl. So it means so much to me that that was the song that they chose for today. And thank you so much to Adrian and Michael and Darren for such incredible, kind words. I truly love this congregation. I love the staff of First Universalist Church. And I can't wait to see what happens to this beautiful, blossoming congregation under such incredible leadership. We really have places to go. And I so look forward to reuniting with you all in a year. Thank you so much. And I will see you on the front steps, I hope. Now I'm going to mute myself because there's a lot of, tears.
Ruth, I know that you feel the love and care from our choir, from the staff, from this congregation, that love and care, our prayers that will hold you and journey with you into this next chapter, this next threshold in your life. You have blessed us in so many ways, innumerable ways, and we are better because of our time together with you. And so with joy and with gratitude, with grief even in our hearts, and with love, especially love in our hearts, let us prepare to give and receive our offering. This morning, our offering will be a 50-50 split between Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism and First Universalist Church. There are a number of ways to give. As you can see on your screen, you can text to give. You can use the Square Cash app if you have that on your phone. You can give online via our website, or you can send a check by mail. You can also just offer a blessing if you're unable to give this morning. All of that is appreciated and needed. As we prepare for our offering, let's sing together. We'll sing Blue Boat Home.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth boat.
So grateful to hear your voice, Ruth. Friends, I hope you'll come on back and join us for worship on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Come on back next Sunday at 10 to join us as well. If you or someone you know is in need of support from the church, I hope you'll reach out and let us know so that we can continue to be there for each other today and every day. Just let Reverend Karen or anyone on staff know what's going on. We want to be there for each other. Again, make sure you're receiving our weekly email newsletter, The Liberal, so that you can stay in touch and know about all the opportunities to connect at church. And remember, we're skipping coffee hour after the service today so that those of us who are able can walk or bike or drive by and wave at Ruth on the front steps of the church from 11:30 to 1 today. And please remember, if you're walking or biking by, especially to be wearing a mask and practicing social distancing. And members of Ruth's Good Goodbye team will be out there to help direct traffic and help remind you of how we are together if need be around masks and stuff. So, oh, Ruth and all of us, it is time for our goodbye. It is time for us to feel in our hearts the love that we have been given. So I remember, Ruth, you saying at different times that we are exactly enough and we are never enough, that what has happened has been enough, and yet still we wish for more. So I trust today, and I share my trust with all of you, that the time that we've had with Ruth, that the time that we've had with others who have loved us and seen us and helped to bring us into being, while we might always wish for more, let us trust that we have been given enough, that this community will hold us, and that now we will be charged to grow into all that Ruth and so many others have taught us, that we might live that life of integrity ourselves. May it be so. Amen. And let's sing together now. Go now in peace. I invite you now to extinguish your chalice if you'd like, remembering that we always carry the warmth of community and the fire of commitment in our hearts. And if you'd like, you can let us know that you're heading out by typing in the chat box, "I carry the flame."